let's go for some more new hands. Yes, right there. Huh? Environment we covered under MDG 7. There's MDG 3 and MDG 8 that is left. Yes.
Women empowerment.
Who said that?
Women.
Empowering women. Great. That was MDG 3. That is about gender. You know, you can't do anything if gender empowerment, if the gender difference is narrowed down, because the power remains predominantly with men, and women's issues are never looked after, so society as a whole cannot develop. Both parts of the society have to develop at equidistance, or they should have parity. And so there was an MDG 3. So we are left only with one, that's MDG 8. Yes? Global partnership. Looks like somebody is Googling. Okay, somebody comes here about economy, right? The economy, the goals of economy, that is finding additional resources, is through mobilization, is through partnership, is through a number of initiatives. That's what is covered under MDG 8. Okay? Now, since I come from a children's agency and I'm talking to children, I'm limiting myself to some, not all, some of those goals and those that relate to children and what we as children can do to help remind our leaders about the progress, and also as a part of this work, maybe in your math, science and medicine work, you can use mathematical and other possibilities and also look for solutions to find a better way of accelerating towards some of these goals. So that's what I'm going to focus the remaining part of this talk on. I have too many slides, I must say. And these are beautiful graphs and tables and maps. And I'm going to just zip through them.
Body radiation, or when the patient has a disease such as leukemia,
which you can download and create graphs and tables and maps for your own areas and the countries that you are interested in further probing and understanding. Okay? So with that, let me now talk about the first one. Of the, as someone said, it's about hunger, it's about malnutrition, it's about poverty. But within that, what is it that affects most when it comes to children? That is about underweight. What is important is that, let's look at, there are 63 countries in the world which are really doing well. That's the good side of the glass. You know, the glass is half full. But there are another 54 countries where there is no progress. Either it is insufficient or there is no progress at all. And look at those red spots and the yellow spots. It's predominantly in Asia, it's predominantly in Africa, and some small segments of South America. Now, there are many ways children's malnutrition can be studied. One way is through underweight, which is about weight for the age. Another is through stunting. That is how it's through measuring height as a method for looking at the malnutrition. And when you look at height, you know, height, there are two ways heights can be determined. One is, of course, genetically. But even in a family of tall people, you will find some short people. And that is not genetically determined. That is determined usually at birth, because those kids did not get adequate food or adequate nutrition in their younger years when their bones were growing. And that is what leads to stunting. And you can imagine if there are problems about their bone growth, then what would be the problems about their brain growth? So likewise, they are being sort of almost subjected to living a suboptimal life just because the family did not have adequate food or adequate nourishment when the child was growing. So stunting is another way, and again, it's the same areas in the world where it is a problem. But you look at this. This gives you by different regions. Again, this about underweight. But what is important for you to understand is that most of these are predominantly certain sub-Saharan Africa countries or in South Asia. India, for example, the country where I and Dr. Bhattacharya come from, it has amongst the highest levels of malnutrition because children are born very underweight, low birth weight, that is called. So even at the time of birth, they are undernourished and they continue to be undernourished right through. And South Asia has therefore amongst the highest malnutrition levels. It is normally in any society about 10% or less are the number of proportion of children who may be malnourished, mild, moderate or severe. But in South Asia, it's as high as 45 to 50%. Parts of India, parts of Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, those countries have very high levels of malnutrition. You go to Sub-Saharan Africa, it's about 20 to 30%. So, although in Africa is generally, in most other goals, is worse compared to the rest of the world, or when it comes to child malnutrition, Asia or South Asia is worse compared to Africa. So that's something which is very different. Now, there are other important things from a science point of view which is important. I don't know whether you know that you get two salts in this country. You go to any of your standard supermarket, you'll find plain salt and there is iodized salt. The iodized salt is required for those kids and those of us who are still growing so that our brain can develop fully. Because it produces a hormone which is responsible for brain development. And in communities where there is iodized salt is low, it has been found that the IQ levels of people who grow with low levels of iodine can be in a generation as low, can be low by about 10 IQ points because they did not get adequate iodine when they were growing. So there are many households all over the world which still do not have adequate levels of iodine, which is possible now through technology. Something very simple, you iodize the salt and that's available. So that's another way you can look at MDG1 is vitamin A. Vitamin A is something which helps us fight many diseases, particularly children coming from poorer communities, poorer countries need vitamin A on a regular basis so that they don't have diseases as frequently as it's possible in those environments. And now you look at 2000, since 2000, in 2008, even in Africa, the levels of children getting vitamin A have gone up. And that is one of the reasons why mortality is coming down, because the diseases do not cause that much of problem. And still there are problems. But what is across all countries which is important is the poor are more malnourished than the rich. You look at any part of the world, whether it is South Asia or Sub-Saharan Africa or North Africa, Middle East or developing countries. Everywhere the richest are malnourished, say only half of the poor. The poor have almost double or even more when it comes to malnourishment. This is something you will see across the board. So you cannot any longer talk about averages. You cannot any longer talk about averages. It has to be about looking at who are the worst off in any society. We have to, I think it was great in the previous talk about parenting, about Caribbean children and children from African descent in America. So even within this country, you have certain worst off parts of the society. But generally, what happens is when you look at USA and its index, it will be the overall average. And just being happy with seeing the average is never going to help us achieve the goal. We have to start looking at subnational or subpopulation-wise by different types of ethnic and minorities and tribal and rural and urban populations. We have to start looking at data by different types of population to see where things are worse and start having strategies to help those who are worse off to get better. That is the way you can move forward.